Yo, 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 yo. Can y'all hear me out there? Can y'all hear me out there? Drop a one in the chat if y'all can hear me out there. Drop a one in the chat if y'all can hear me out there. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Let me know if y'all can hear me out there so we could get right into it. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me out there. I'm going to give y'all a minute to come on through. But let me know if y'all can hear me. Drop y'all ones in the chat. Drop y'all ones in the chat if y'all can hear me. Drop y'all ones in the chat if y'all can hear me. wrestling world. DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everyone who support the platform. Much love, much love, much love. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to everyone, man. Salute to all the supporters. I appreciate everyone. Shout out to my lovely lady mods. And of course, salute to all the visionaries, man. If you can hear me, let's see if you guys can hear me. Let's see if you guys can hear me. Let's see if you guys can hear me. Yes, you guys can hear me. So salute, 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 salute. And of course, we are back right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I'm y'all host, DS1 Ross. Of course, man, I appreciate all the support. Salute to everyone that's here. We got another great show lined up for you guys today. So do me that favor. Do me that favor. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in through the vertical feed. Hit that like button, everyone. Hit that like button, everyone. I'm getting ready to shout everyone that's out in the chat. And then we're going to get into today's show. We are going to get into today's show because we got to talk about this. So double tap y'all screens. Like I said, support the show with a like and a share. Support the show with a like and a share. The links are going across the screen if you would like to support anytime during the show financially. The links are going across the screen. The super chat is open as well. So let's get to the shout outs and then let's get to this topic. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We getting ready to go into Thanksgiving. So I know some of you guys in the holiday spirit. I'm definitely happy, because y'all know what's getting ready to happen for me. So I'm definitely happy, So shout out to y'all. We definitely need to have this conversation today. So let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. Shout out to my man Jay from Philly. What's good, Jay? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to my man Stingray Cool in the building. Salute, salute. Hey, Miss Raina Woman. Shout out to Miss Raina Woman, one of my lovely lady mods that always come through and hold it down for me. Thank you so much, Miss Raina Woman. I appreciate you. As always, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to City Boy Floyd in the building. Blessings, bro. Salute, salute. Shout out to the Cynical one. What's up, Cynical? How you doing? How you doing, Cynical? What's going on with you? Shout out to G. Cole in the building. What up, G. Cole? It's been a minute, man. Salute to you. Salute, salute. Shout out to my man 28. What up, 28 with a bag? What's going on with you, my guy? Salute, salute. Shout out to my brother, the underrated one in the building. Salute, family. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you, man. Salute, salute. Hey, Miss Zahara, how you been? Shout out to you, Miss Zahara. What's going on with you? It's been a minute. What's going on? Salute. She says, not Linda McMahon. I love the WWE, but absolutely not. And with that being said, make sure y'all answer the poll on the way in. Make sure y'all answer the poll on the way in. She's definitely not with the Linda McMahon stuff. I'm gonna talk about that too. But shout out to Ms. Zahara in the building. What's going on? Shout out to Elisino in the building. Salute, champion. Salute, salute, salute. How you doing, OG? Happy Friday to you, man. We getting ready to get into it today. We gonna get into it today, man. Shout out to Ray Stansberry in the building. Salute, Ray. What's going on with you? Salute. G Cole says, salute DS1. The Vince McMahon theme song. No chance. Linda got past the torch of politics. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, G Cole. Shout out to you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, bro. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you, bro. Zahara says next it'll be Hulk Hogan for Senate. We already had Jesse Ventura. We already had Arnold Schwarzenegger. Zahara, I mean, Come on. Come on. We listen, if we want to get in our conspiracy bag, we know that a lot of these so-called people in charge have a lot of weird backgrounds. Let's just, you know, let's try to keep it clean, right? They all have strange backgrounds, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Shout out to my man Bob in the building. Salute, Bob. Salute. What's up, New York Nikki? What's going on with you, Miss Lady? Shout out to Miss New York Nikki, baby, in the building. Jerome, what's up, Jerome? He says, I envy you, man. Seems like you don't have a single problem in life. Oh, yeah, I appreciate the kind gesture, Jerome. But we all have problems, my brother. We have problems from the time we're born into this world and we can self-actualize. That's when all the problems begin, you know? But salute to you, man. Zahara says, yeah, but Jesse Ventura had experience though. He did? I never knew he had previous political experience. Ray says she didn't get past the red tape. They dropped her into position like a Navy SEAL. Great point. But y'all see the show. Trump picks Linda McMahon for education secretary. Now, if y'all missed yesterday's show, one of my lovely lady mods, can y'all please do me a favor? Do me a favor, please, and grab the link from yesterday's show. And my apologies to you, Miss L'Oreal. I am so sorry. Shout out to Miss L'Oreal, one of my lovely lady mods that always come through and hold it down. Thank you so much, Miss L'Oreal. I'm sorry I missed you. We can't miss you. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But y'all see the show. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. But okay, but Zahara says he was a mayor too. I didn't know that. But Linda McMahon, you know, she's also had her run at politics as well. Zahara, if you didn't know, I believe she was trying to run for governor of Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. A couple of years ago is when she started her whole political run. And she got her feet wet in politics dealing with Trump. I'm gonna play the video. We're gonna get into the video, y'all. I'm gonna need y'all to double tap the screens. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in a vertical feed. Like the show. Like the show. We're gonna get into it. We got the videos. We're gonna play it. But Trump is who actually helped her get her feet wet in politics. You know, he's the guy. We're gonna get into the video. We're gonna get into it. Ray says next it'll be Charles Entertainment Cheese for secretary. Yeah, that was funny, cynical. What up, Danny? Danny says put the Undertaker in charge of the border. But you know what though? You know what? I'm glad y'all saying this. I'm glad y'all saying this. And make sure y'all answer the poll on the way in, right? I'm glad y'all saying this. I'm glad y'all saying this. C. Lucas, what's up, C. Lucas? The cabinet is dead. Period. Oh, it's dead. Peace to the God, Seth's son. Peace, peace, my brother. Shout out to GQ in the building. Shout out to my guy GQ, man. Salute, salute, bro. I'm glad y'all are saying this because if y'all are seeing this the way I'm reading it from y'all, then we should be focused on other things when it comes to politics. Am I right or am I wrong? Because if we know that a lot of these candidates are sketchy or have sketchy backgrounds, or they used to do this back in the day, or they used to do that back in the day, right? If we know that, this is that part of it is a whole charade, then we should be focused on something else. We should be looking somewhere else. We should be listening for other things, right? Shout out to my man Shots in the building. Salute my brother. Shout out to Big Brooklyn. We in the building. Right? We should be listening and looking for other things. And I see a lot of y'all are coming in. I listen, I have no problem with wrestling. I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. Can I watch wrestling now? Not really. I kind of like amateur independent wrestling a little more, right? Because they kind of bringing the hardcore back to, they kind of like bringing a little ECW aspect to the independent wrestling leagues and stuff. But I was a huge wrestling fan growing up, right? Do y'all understand that the McMahons are not millionaires, not multi-millionaires. They are billionaires. I don't think they know that, Miss Sahara. I know you're still a huge wrestling fan. I know. I don't think people understand that the corporation, the WWE, they're billionaires. The McMahon, they're billionaires with a B. Yes, with a B, a big B. They're billionaires. So when you are in charge of a multi-billionaire billion-dollar corporation, right? You are going to invest into politics. It's a must. It's part of being an humanitarian and giving back. You see, it's just designed that way, y'all. It's just designed that way. It literally just it just is. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are in the building. Y'all are just coming in. Double tap y'all screens, man. Hey, Miss Camille, good to see you, love. Good to see you. Shout out to you. I hope everything is going well with you. Hope you're feeling good. Shout out to you. Another one of my lovely lady mods that always come through and hold it down. Shout out to you, Miss Camille. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we are what? 3 for 3 today? 3 for 3 on the lovely lady mods. Shout out to the ladies. Shout out to my comrade in the building. Shout out to my comrade, another wrestling buff, such as myself. Shout out to my brother, the Book of Rona. He says, billionaires and an avid ECW mark for Rob Van Dam, the Dudleys, New Jack, and Taz. Facts. Let's not forget Rhino. When he was in ECW, New Jack was my guy, the Dudley Boys. Let's not forget Cactus Jack, Terry Funk. Yeah, we could go there. I'm an old school wrestling guy. Cause see, I got my wrestling love from my dad. So I know all the old school wrestlers too. Tito Santana. We could go back. Captain Lou Albino. We could Bob Backlund. We could go back too. Greg the Hammer. We could go all the way back. We go back. Yeah. So a lot of y'all don't understand how big wrestling is, man. And what it has turned into. The entity it has turned into. Right? Wrestling is just as big as hip hop. I'll challenge anyone on that. If you a hip hop fan, if you a true hip hop fan, all true hip hop fans are wrestling fans. We wrestling, especially guys, especially if you grew up in the inner city. Let me say that. You grew up in the inner city and you was a hip hop kid, you definitely love wrestling because it went hand in hand. Ask some of your favorite rappers. Look it up. They watch wrestling. They go to wrestling events. If you a Griselda fan, if you like Benny the Butcher, Conway, West Side Gun, they all watch wrestling. They wrestling fans. If you're like battle rap, they watch wrestling. All the dudes from battle rap, they watch wrestling. They're wrestling fans. Snoop Dogg, he loves wrestling. All these people watch wrestling. So when we talking about the WWE, Sap, come on, man. Y'all naming the classics in the building. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Right? So when we talking about Linda McMahon, and I'm getting ready to play this video, right? Where she actually speaks on when she first met Trump, right? And y'all gonna hear how she got into politics and what she's trying to do. So let's get into this video, right? Let's get into this video. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in a vertical feed. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up, man. Support the show. Support the show with a like and a share, y'all. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Let me put up my fair use banner. This is for educational purposes only, YouTube. This is for educational purposes only. Let's get into it.
McMahon is the next secretary. President-elect Donald Trump's pick of Linda McMahon as the next Secretary of Education is already raising alarm among critics who feel the role should go to someone with more experience in education. But her appointment has also been met with praise by supporters who see this as a win for parental rights and school choice. The former professional wrestling executive led the Small Business Administration during Trump's first term before she resigned in 2019. This time around, she's set to head an agency that Trump has repeatedly pledged to dismantle. For more, we're joined by John Vallant, director of the Brown Center on Education Policy at the Brookings Institution. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I think it's always useful to look at these selections in the context of what Mr. Trump has said about these respective departments and agencies. So help us understand Linda McMahon as his choice to lead a department that he says he wants to get rid of and allow each state to handle education individually, as he put it.
So there's an irony to selecting a secretary of a department that the incoming administration is looking to dismantle from everything that they've told us. Now, they are very unlikely to actually be able to do that, because eliminating the Department of Education would require an act of Congress. It would be subject to a Senate filibuster, and there is no Democratic support for that idea, and there very likely would be some Republican opposition too. So I don't think that they're thinking in terms of how do we eliminate the department with this pick. But it is also the case that Linda McMahon has very little experience and expertise in education. She has more experience running agencies and working in the first Trump administration, but is not one who seems to really understand the issues of the day when it comes to education policy.
It strikes me that students with disabilities and their families in particular would experience the ripple effects if the administration really does make good on its promise to reduce the federal government's role in public education.
So when people talk about eliminating the Department of Education, it's important to ask what they mean. And if, when they're talking about that, they're talking about eliminating the department and eliminating all of the programs that the department administers, it would be catastrophic for all kinds of student populations. So students with disabilities are certainly one. They receive protections from legislation and they receive resources. Students who live in poverty are another. They receive resources that they really need. Now, the Trump administration can't just come in and do that. And in fact, those programs are hardwired into legislation that predates the Department of Education. Part of the reason we have a Department of Education is that they administer those programs, and we were sort of getting a lot of programs that we needed someone to administer. So it would absolutely be catastrophic if we were to go in that direction. I'm very skeptical. Not only because there would be a Democratic opposition, but students with disabilities and students in poverty, they don't just live in blue states and in blue areas. They live all across the country. And there are a lot of Republican members of Congress who are very sensitive to the impacts that that kind of move would have on their own constituents.
Linda McMahon supports school choice. The Trump campaign and Republicans broadly have talked about restoring parental rights in schools, cutting federal funding for programs teaching critical race theory, gender ideology, any really lesson deemed inappropriate.
Now, shout out to everybody in the building, right? Let me say this, right? Let me say this. I think that what Trump is saying he wants to do is something that I think, and this is my opinion, all parents should want restored in the education system. Let's take our children back. Let's take our children back. Let's take our children back from the state. Let's now come back and have some real influence in the lives of our children. Why wouldn't we want that? Why would we be against that? Because right now, a lot of us understand and know how much the state has control over a lot of our children. We can't even say and do what we want with our own children. So when we talking about parents being allowed to parent their children without any more interruptions by the schools, and this is a drastic change. And this is something that I think a lot of people are not paying attention to. The things that are being said when they mean make America great again. See, when y'all hear make America great again, y'all hear let's go back to everybody being in slavery. Because that's what you think made America great. That is what made America great at one point in history. But that is not what makes America great today. See, because if that's what you believe, then you are basically discounting what we us as black people did in this country. If we was to just say, oh, America was great when we was enslaved, then that would discount everything we've done, everything we've built, that we've heard right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV, because we played the video when Trump said out of his mouth and gave credit to what black people has built in this country, how we are a part of the building of the American empire. It was built off of us. This is what he said out of his mouth. It's not what I'm saying. He said it. He said it. So if we really understand our history in this country, besides slavery, right, then why wouldn't we want some of the things that they're mentioning here? Why wouldn't you want to bring prayer back in school? Why? Maybe because a lot of people have lost the understanding of the power of prayer. Maybe that's the problem. Some of y'all just lost the understanding of the power of prayer. Maybe if we bring prayer back in school, the violence will turn down. Because, see, you know, sometimes when people pray in the collective and you got people really praying and believing what they praying in as a collective, you know, sometimes that keep negativity away. Not saying it won't happen, but it'll keep negativity away at a certain time. Sometimes that stuff redirects people. This is real life. This is real life. Just like sometimes you don't even know what you're getting ready to walk into, and something just come to your mind and say, yo, go the other way. Turn right here and go the other way. Don't go up the way you said you was going to go. Something just told you don't go up that way. Think about this stuff, y'all. We see, and I'm saying this because it's time to elevate the conversation. A lot of us are parents. A lot of us are parents to be. A lot of us were parents before. A lot of us are still parents. You know, once you become a parent, you never stop being a parent. Right? So, to the parents who have children in high school, and we know all the stuff that's not even just going on in high schools, it's going on in the junior high schools now. The gang fighting and all that starting in elementary school. You don't think we need to bring prayer back in school? You don't think so? See, a lot of y'all are gonna say no because it may offend people who don't believe in God. But again, right? Once a certain amount of us get on one accord with this stuff, those people will cancel themselves out. We don't have to ostracize them. You see? We got to start thinking about what's best for the collective. We got to start thinking about what's best for the collective. What is going to benefit the future? Not the now. Not now. Because at some point, you're not going to be here no more. So let's start looking at this stuff practically and not emotionally. Let's start listening and looking at this stuff practically. Let's get back into it.
Appropriate. There's also this push to restore what Republicans, many conservatives, see as the fundamental right to pray in school. At the heart of it, though, is this fundamental disagreement about the role of public education. Is that how you see it?
It is. And in fact, I think it's actually easier to understand the attacks on the Department of Education as being an attack on a symbol of public education more generally. And maybe the most important policy trend that we've seen around the country when it comes to K-12 education is that in a lot of states, and it's red states and a couple of purple states, they have pushed toward what are essentially universal school voucher programs. And the way those programs are designed, they're very different from the voucher programs of the past in that they're available to all families regardless of income and really don't have many restrictions at all, either on the families using those vouchers or on the schools that are receiving the vouchers. And so what I think we're really seeing is we're seeing a push from the Republican Party and from the Trump administration away from public schools and into private schools, whether they're religious or not.
How have the culture wars broadly affected public education, and how do you see it evolving in a second Trump term?
So it's been a really difficult few years for schools across the country, and it started really or ramped up with the COVID-induced school closings. And after those COVID-induced school closings, we did have this wave of culture war battles, especially related to gender and to race. And at minimum, it has been incredibly distracting when we really have had to focus on what are big issues for schools. So even today, we haven't nearly recovered all of the lost learning that happened as a result of those school closings. And then on top of that, we have issues with chronic absenteeism. We have issues with politics infiltrating schools, and it really is a bad time. But in addition to that, it's not just a distraction, but often there are students who feel targeted by a lot of these culture war battles. So if you're a transgender student in schools right now, you're hearing the messages and you're seeing those TV advertisements that we saw throughout the campaign. And so there's very likely a direct impact in addition to just the sort of more general unhelpful distraction.
Is there a connection between federal spending, federal involvement in schooling, and student outcomes?
So the federal government is a relatively small player when it comes to funding our schools. It puts about 10% of funding into our school system. And the funds that it puts go highly disproportionately into the areas in greatest need. So if we were to rely entirely on state and local sources of funding, we would have an education system that vastly overfunds the wealthiest areas. And part of the goal of the federal role in funding schools is to offset some of that inequality. And what we know from a lot of research at this point is that when we put resources into schools, and particularly when we put resources into schools that serve students in poverty, it has real benefits both for those students and for society at large.
John Vallant with the Brown Center on Education Policy at the Brookings Institution. Thanks for your insights. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Now, shout out to everyone that's in the building, right? Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in a vertical feed. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in a vertical feed. What's up, Taylor? How you doing? Taylor says, because not everyone is religious. Agreed. What up, Time to Work? Salute, fam. Shout out to Fred G. What up, Fred G? Lord of War in the building. Art of War. What up, Art of War? Salute. But bringing prayer back in school doesn't mean you're religious. Praying doesn't mean you're religious. You know? Because you can religiously not pray. So praying has nothing to do with religion. Okay? Prayer is a spiritual practice. Praying has nothing to do with religion. Because it could be part of your religion to not pray. You see? There's a lot of religions out here. You can say whatever's a religion. And it doesn't mean you have to pray. So, but that's how most people, when they first hear praying in school, they relate it right back to religion. So I understand why you said that, Taylor. Mama Rosa, what's up, Mama Rosa? Because it is a control act, which religion they're going to use it against the First Amendment. You believe that? That don't even sound right. That don't even sound right, Mama Rosa. But salute to you. Glorious Content says godlessness brought us democracy and many other human blunders. Interesting point. Interesting point, Glorious Content. Zahara says the atheist lady, Madeline Murray O'Hare, had prayer taken out of school. True story. Rainin Woman says everyone is not into gangs, homosexuality, and etc., but it was still brought to our schools. Absolutely. Absolutely. What up, Luxury Pick? Salute. Taylor says that is true. But then the question is, who are they going to pray? Who are they going to pray to? Who are they going to pray to? That's a whole nother, that's a whole nother conundrum, Taylor. That's a whole nother conundrum. It's a whole nother conundrum. The federal government pulled prayer out of school so it would be easier morally corrupt America's children. People forget religion gave us morals. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Religion teaches us to practice those morals. That's a fact. Religion teaches us to practice those morals because those morals are actually spiritual things, spiritual attributes you can that you should have as a person. So I agree with that. Religion teaches us to put those things into practice daily. Religion. You continuously do this. So it's you putting those spiritual things into practice. If you want to put it in your own words, if somebody asks you what religion is, that's you applying those spiritual concepts to your life every day, such as praying, such as fasting, right? Such as following the 10 Commandments, which are what? Spiritual things. Because morals are spiritual things. Principles are spiritual things. Command, those all line up as the same thing. So I see a lot of y'all in the building. What up, Raj? Salute. Right? Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in a vertical feed, right? I'm trying to find out, why do people have a problem with this? What's up, Scorpio? How you been? Why do people have a problem with this? Is it because we done got comfortable, like rational anarchists said? Because we done got comfortable being morally corrupt. We done got so used to this. It's like, nah, this is a part of life, DS1. And hey, I'm gonna agree with that to a certain point, up until a certain point. Because guess what? It was a part of my life too. But does that mean I have to die that way? Does that mean I have to live that way for the rest of my life? So yeah, I came up a certain way. I was around certain things. Yeah, I did certain things. Yeah, I believed certain things. I said a lot of things, did a lot of things. But do I die that way? Do I live the rest of my life out that way? Do I still believe what I believe in my 20s that I believe in my 40s? And I'm not in my 40s. That was just an example. Even though I pray I make it to my 40s, you know? So that's the question, y'all. Do you want your children to grow up in the same world that you did? When I grew up, we wasn't praying in school. We said the Pledge of Allegiance. And I remember when I was in elementary school, people who practiced certain religions, they didn't have to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance or the Star Spangled Banner. They was able to sit down. Who remember that in elementary school? I don't remember going to school and we was praying in school. Shoot, it was so bad when I was in elementary school, we didn't even say our grace at the lunch table over our food. We were so goddamn bad. We was so corrupted as young kids. We didn't even say our grace. You know, at home, as a little kid, you taught to say your grace before you eat. You better not touch that food until you say your grace, right? I don't care if you grew up in the projects. All my friends that grew up in the projects, they said they grace. They didn't play with grandma. They didn't play with auntie. They didn't play with their mama. Even the ones who had crackhead mamas. You said your grace. But when we got to school, we was not saying no grace. We was cursing everywhere. These are facts. I don't just leave me out there like that, y'all. I was going, are you crazy? This is why I'm working on my foul language, because I've been cursing since I was 6 years old. I'm not lying. I was cursing in the first grade. I'm not lying. One of the things that used to be put on my report card when I was in elementary school is I used to talk a lot. Especially when I'm finished my work. I'm not telling the teacher I'm finished. I'm talking. I didn't get caught cursing a lot. I used to get caught cursing a lot in the schoolyard at lunchtime and stuff, but not in class. But I've been cursing since I was 6 years old. What? I've been cursing since first grade. First grade. Knew all of them. Knew how to pronounce them and everything. Fluent in profanity. I was extremely fluent in profanity. Oh yeah. A philosopher with profanity. But I don't want my son to be like that. Because as y'all know, I can't express myself totally different. But like I just said, I've been cursing since 6 years old. So it's part of how I express myself. But do I have to express myself that way? No. And I understand that. So do our children have to learn in the same school environments that we did? Think about this, y'all. Listen, why do y'all think a lot of older people, and I'm not saying that they got all their stuff together, right? Because we know a lot of them are plumb crazy too. I'm not saying that. But a lot of them have a different level of structure and discipline and a different mindset because of how things were in society too. You see, when prayer was in school, you know what else was in school? Uniforms. Uniforms was in school too. We talking about public school. We're not talking about charter school or private school. If you went to charter school or private school, okay, you wore a uniform, right? What up, Cutthroat? Salute, family. But in public, they had to wear uniform when it was prayer in school. So guess what that stopped? Oh, excuse me. Guess what that didn't create? It didn't create competition amongst the children in a negative way. You didn't have people coming to school trying to look their best, but not learn nothing. See, when they took uniforms out of school, now everybody got to look cute. So now the young boys, we coming to school trying to look our best before we can learn the most. That's what took precedent over learning, looking the best. So we coming in late to school, smelling like cologne, we chewing gum, trying to act grown. We in elementary school. We in 5th grade, 6th grade. Walking in class, chewing bubble tape, blowing bubbles, trying to be cool. We didn't care about what was on the blackboard. Remember in school, they used to write this word on the board, y'all? AIM. Who remember AIM? Yeah, I got a good memory. Who remember AIM? AIM. Every class you went to, right? Or every subject, AIM. That wasn't the aim. We didn't care what the aim was on the board no more. Because guess what? What your genes say, nigga? See, we're going to talk today. We're going to have a real life, logical conversation like adults. See, yo, that's what we do over here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to my man, Big Dice. Grown folks conversation. Shout out to my man, Big Dice, man. But that's what we do over here. If we're going to talk about politics, let's have a logical, honest discussion. Let's really talk about the education system. Let's talk about the classroom. Let's talk about the environment in which our children are suffering in. And this is why they're not learning. Number one is too much distractions. And I'm going to tell you what the first distraction is. Who look like what? Because y'all not going to sit here and tell me, shout out to my man Shots. We got Brooklyn in the building. If you went to school in Brooklyn, I don't care. Shots, you in the building. You in the building, Shots. We got Philly in the building. Shout out to Champ in the building. My man Elisino, we got Philly in the building. You know, when you come to school, from elementary school. From elementary. If you from the ghetto, if you better come to school looking good every day, you better look nice every day. Every day. Because if you got them niggas in class cracking jokes on you, you ain't gonna be able to concentrate. Am I lying? Jay from Philly in the building. He know what I'm talking about. So if we're gonna talk about education, let's have this real conversation. It's too much distractions for our children. First thing we come into school, we looking at each other outfits. Then when the tell me, was this just me? This was me in elementary school. Walk into class, we sit down, talking. You know, people looking at each other clothes, cracking jokes, looking at each other up and down, looking at the girls. Then the teacher go, homework check. Now you doing this, y'all. Yo, you did the homework. Yo. You got your book in your lap. Yo, what you got for number 2? Yo, I put 6. I think it's wrong. What you got? Yo, is she coming? Tell me if she coming. Yo, what you got for number 8? I'm gonna keep it. Tell me I'm lying. This, you know what caused that? You know what caused that? I'm gonna tell you what caused that. Taking uniforms out of public schools. If they would have kept us in uniform, right? All we could talk about and look at is each other's sneakers. See, when they took uniforms out, there was the number one distraction. That was the number one distraction. They took prayer out of school. Guess what happened? People was bringing the hell that they brought from their house and brought from their hoods and brought from their blocks and brought from their projects into the schoolhouse. And it was nothing there to protect and shield the children. Because like I always tell y'all, everybody not bad in the hood. It's some people in the hood that never smoked, never drank, never cheated on nobody, never fired a pistol, never been locked up, nothing. And they children is in school with your little brother that live in apartment 13F in the projects. So that woman child who don't do nothing, who earn an honest living, is being influenced by your little brother. Ain't no protection for that little boy that's innocent, that ain't with the shits, that can't come outside. There's no protection for them. What about with them? Because the hood will turn you out. Especially when one of the bad boys become one of your friends. See, let's have a real conversation, y'all. Let's have a real conversation. Double tap y'all screens. What happens when your little good son, his best friend, is a little rug rat? See. This is why we need to have this conversation. It's nothing to protect these kids, man. We don't even pray over them no more. We don't even pray over the kids. How you tell the kids to pray over their food and you don't pray over them? See, this is why we need prayer back in school. So maybe that little boy who been getting bullied, he might think twice about bringing that AR-15 to school, because he not going to feel comfortable praying knowing he got that big ass gun in his book bag. He may not feel comfortable shooting that class up after prayer. Think about this. He might not think about blowing his classmate head off and traumatizing everybody in the goddamn school because the boy was talking about how he was wearing rejects. Let's talk. Let's have a real conversation. Let's talk about what really go on, reality, not just your feelings about stuff. Let's talk about how you feel about real life. You know why most of these little boys shoot their classes up? Because they don't fit in. And a lot of these little boys feel like if I can't fit in, nobody will. Why I got to be the only one left out? Why I got to be the only one left to feel weird? Because these people have created an environment that creates this stuff. And Trump is trying to change the environment in your schools, in your children's schools. When I walk in my child's school, I shouldn't see kids running in the hallway. You see what I'm talking about? When I walk in my son's school, I shouldn't smell Zaza. You know, you walk in these schools today and you smell weed in the school or in my butt. You walk in the school and smell weed. They be smoking weed in the parking lot. What are y'all talking? Are y'all? See, a lot of y'all just be living online. Y'all don't know what's really going on outside. You walk in, you smell weed in the school. The principal and the teachers and the administration done got used to smelling weed in the school. Do y'all know that the schools is ran by the kids? You didn't hear what the man just said in the video? When he kept talking about the low attendance rates, the kids run the schools. Just the kids. They come to school when they want. They do what they want. See, y'all may think I'm exact. This shit is for real. This is real. They having whole shootouts in school parking lots now. Whole shootouts, students. We don't need prayer in school. We don't need prayer in school. They having whole shootouts in school parking lots. Lean on me for real. Champ. Who remember that movie, Dangerous Minds? This shit is in real time. Whole shootouts in the school parking lot. Dudes killing each other at their graduation. We don't need prayer in school. Oh. Let's not even get to the sports events, Taylor. They be letting off choppers at the sports events. Football games, they letting the chop off. They letting choppers off. 14, 15, 16-year-old boys and girls getting murdered at these schools, man. They letting AR-15s off in the parking lot of a school after a game. Mass shootings. Oh, we don't need prayer back in school? Your baby might not come home. This is for real. And he ain't gotta have no smoke. She don't gotta have no problems. Oh, we don't need prayer in school? Are y'all crazy? Y'all don't be knowing what's going on. That's what it is. Y'all don't really know what be going on. Why do y'all think a lot of these boys and girls don't even want to go to school? You know, a lot of them don't want to go to school, not just because they scared that they might die, but they scared that they might have to unalive somebody in defense of their own life. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? They are afraid that they might have to unalive somebody in defense of their own life in school. This is in school, y'all. This is in school. Not in the projects, not in apartments, not at the apartments, not in bombs, not in pork and bean projects. At school. At school. Not in the impoverished neighborhoods. At school. At school. These kids are dropping out of school just for that. Just for that. Look at you laughing, Scorpio. You always making light of something. Look at you. What up, JDJ? He say a parent was shot and killed at a middle school basketball game 2 weeks ago in the district where I work. Man, this stuff is for real, man. Shout out to you, JDJ. This stuff is real. Yes, this is happening in real life, Taylor. Tell him again. Because you know, people be thinking I be exaggerating. You know, Taylor, they be thinking I be exaggerating. Rational Anarchist says, real talk, I blame the internet. Things like social media, these kids can bully the hell out of each other anonymously with no consequences and without remorse. The internet has desensitized children. I agree with that. The internet plays a huge part in that. But the root problem is the abandonment from the parents. Because let's keep it real, rational anarchists. A lot of these parents today let the goddamn iPad parent them, parent the children. See, remember, a lot of the older generations, our parents put us in front of the TV. See, I wasn't sat in front of the TV. My parents used to sit me at the table and put pencils in my hand and make me write. That's why I got good handwriting. Shout out to you, babe. She always tell me she like my handwriting. I got good handwriting. That's because I wasn't put in front of the TV to be quiet. I wasn't put in front of the TV. These children today, iPad, phone, immediately. Wow. Phone. Phone. So rational anarchists, we got to admit that that's a form of abandonment. It is. Whether we want to agree with it or not. I know it may sound a little harsh, but let's be real. Because let's look at how a lot of these children today have a certain level of detachment from their parents. Look at why a lot of these children are emotionally detached from their parents, because it wasn't developed. It wasn't developed. Champ says the TV was my pops. You was from that generation, Champ. Especially guys your age that didn't have a pops. Mom Dukes was definitely going to put you in front of the TV so you could see Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, and try to mirror yourselves after those men. Because men on TV, especially black men back then on TV, they did have they played a good character that a lot of guys, a lot of black men fashioned themselves after. Guys like John Amos and all of that. Rational says 100% the parents let the internet raise their children. Yep. Literally, man. Literally. L'Oreal says, I'm guilty of it, Ross. Oh, come on. What up, Julian? Julian says, facts. I was not a TV baby. I was given a newspaper every day to find 3 stories. Oh, you had to do current events. Oh, I hated doing current events when I was in elementary school. I hated it. And my moms used to make me finish them too. Find the 3 stories that I wanted to discuss and know more about. I hated it at the time, but now I love they raised me like that. Me too, Julian. Me too, Julian. Me too, bro. Me too. Carl Winslow. You grew up on Carl Winslow? Yeah, Carl, he was, once we got older and found out, what it was to Carl, but he was a good example for guys who didn't have a dad. George Jefferson, yeah. Taylor says, I used to be in a state of shock when I heard some of these kids talk to their parents. What? Me too. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? But let's get into this next video. Let's get into this next video about Linda and her becoming the Department of Education secretary. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Did I just play this? Okay. Nope. It's the right video. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use, fair use. Oh, hey, Miss Classy Creole. Shout out to Miss Classy Creole in the building. One of my lovely lady moms that always come through and hold it down. What's up, Miss Classy Creole? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. We 4 for 4 today. Shout out to the lovely lady Mars. Shout them out in the building. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
According to President Trump, President-elect Trump, rather, that he has chosen Linda McMahon as his next Secretary of Education here. So I have the statement in front of me by the transition. Trump saying, "It is my great honor to announce that Linda McMahon, former administrator of the Small Business Administration, will be the United States Secretary of Education." He says for the past 4 years as the chair of the board at the America First Policy Institute, Linda has been a fierce advocate for parents' rights, working hard at both AFPI and America First Works to achieve universal school choice in 12 states, giving children the opportunity to receive an excellent education, regardless of zip code or outcome or income. As Secretary of Education, Linda will fight tirelessly to expand choice to every state in America and empower parents to make the best education decisions for their families here. So you see there McMahon and Trump there at Mar-a-Lago. So yes, McMahon served in the first Trump administration as the Small Business Administration head. She has now been tapped to lead the education department. Now, this is somewhat interesting because some in Trump's orbit, including Trump himself, have flirted with the idea of doing away with the Department of Education outright. And so we'll have to wait and see whether or not the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency cuts at the corners of the federal bureaucracy, and will they start there at the Department of Education? That remains to be seen. And so remember, McMahon serves right now as the co-chair of Trump's transition, along with Howard Lutnick, the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. Now, Lutnick was tapped today as well as the next Secretary of Commerce, and it was reported that that was a position McMahon was vying and jockeying for. And it's been reported that McMahon now gets this after losing out on commerce there. So remember, at the Education Department, key issues including school choice, including student loan debt forgiveness, including trans issues inside schools across the country. Those issues are going to be front and center to whoever leads the Department of Education, whether or not they can be confirmed by the Senate here. Linda McMahon is Trump's choice to do just that. So wanted to make sure we got all of this in there on this Tuesday night. McMahon, upon Senate confirmation, will go to the Department of Education.
Please let me join.
Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in on the vertical feed. Please double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in on the vertical feed. Taylor says, "I need my loans forgiven." Listen, y'all. Y'all didn't get enough for all that free money Trump gave y'all. I know a lot of us didn't get that free money, but the people who did, that wasn't enough, huh? That wasn't enough, huh? Kevin Jones says, "Didn't Linda McMahon get caught capping about having a degree in education? Did she?" That sounds like Dr. Umar, Kevin Jones. That sounds like Dr. Umar. I don't know about Linda McMahon. That sounds like Dr. Umar, Kevin. Welcome to the show, though. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in. Make sure y'all support the show, y'all. Support the show. The links are going across the screen. See, I know you ain't getting no free money. You ain't getting no free money. Maragaro says, "In Atlanta, how is it that 92% in the public schools reading is way below the grade level?" Exactly. That's because people in Atlanta is worrying about superstars. That's because Atlanta has turned into the black shithole. I mean, Black Hollywood. And in Black Hollywood, who cares about education? You in Hollywood, you a star. Everybody wants to be you. Who cares if you really can't read and write? Who cares? You made it. You did it. You know? Just like, perfect example. When 50 Cent came out and said Floyd Mayweather couldn't read, everybody was like, so I'll switch places with Floyd. So what if he can't read? He got the bag. That should show you right there that there is a problem in the American education system. Just that right there. You have grown people who are devaluing education or totally excluding education from success. For how many years now have you been hearing online, you ain't got to go to school, you ain't got to know nothing, you just got to hustle. You just got to have a hustle. How long y'all been hearing that now? See, people who were successful back when America was thriving, you never heard them say that. Because the way to success was education. You had to be educated at something. I didn't say you just got to go to school. I said you have to be educated at something. You got to know something. You got to know something to show something. That's why you got a bunch of no-show ass people now in life. They could show you some money, but they don't show up for you when it's time. They're a bunch of no-shows. See, this is all coming from the lack of education, the devaluing of education. Education is now seen as an external value, as something you only can leverage for something monetary and material. When back in the day, education is what made prominence. You couldn't be a prominent person and be uneducated. You couldn't stand amongst the greats, speak amongst the greats, and don't be educated. We don't care how much money you got. Guess what we're going to do? You're going to take that money and you're going to put it behind a voice who's smart, and you're going to fund him. This is what they did to dumb niggas with money back in the day. You want to be a part of this? Okay, we need this. And we're going to use that and fund this. But you ain't going to get up here and speak for us because you dumb as a doorknob. But now we got a whole country of people. You ain't got to know nothing. What's the purpose of school? Huh? What? So that's the proof that a lot of us, right, take our goddamn kids to school to have a babysitter. Because why would you say, oh, you don't need school to be successful? Then why you take your kid to school every goddamn day? Oh, because you don't want them to be in your way for a couple of hours. You need a babysitter. This is the shit Trump was talking about. And then we take our children to predators. And you won't even care because you just want them out your face. You need a break. You just want to eat your food in peace. Dumb shit like that. Then the little boy at the daycare center getting touched. Because your dumb ass want to sit at home and smoke weed and watch Jerry Springer by yourself and take pictures on Facebook. Dummy. This is what Trump talking about. Getting these crazy people from around from our children. But we sending them to them because we don't value education. We don't care about the quality the quality of the schools, the quality of lunch they feeding our children. We don't care about that. When the last time your ass been a parent-teacher night? I got a word. Oh, you do? So you never been to one? You got 7 kids. You ain't been to one parent-teacher night? See, I know what y'all want. Y'all want the government to keep being your goddamn kids' parents. You little liberal loving people. Y'all want to keep living high off the hog and being irresponsible. See, Trump is coming back and saying, get off your ass. Playtime's over. That shit over with. That shit over with. Baddies is over with. Playtime's over. That's what we need to realize here. Instead of complaining and whining and making up shit. That just shows me, a person that think like me, that y'all want this shit to stay the same. For all these years, all you pro-blacks, I'm pro-black. I love my people. But you want us still in the projects eating substandard food and your son going to school getting shot. You still want that, though. You still want that so you could just chill. Girl, I needed a break. Huh? That's what you want, right? Huh? And then you're going to turn around and blame the government. Why these kids even get guns in school? Shut your dumb ass up. You don't even go to parent-teacher night. Shut up. Coming up here trying to raise hell. You don't even know your son is in a gang and got beef. Dummy. But when they talking about getting the riffraff out of the schools, that includes everything. Do you know young girls is getting pregnant in middle school at an alarming rate right now? Liberal. You want to keep being liberal. That's why your daughter might come home from junior high school pregnant. Oh, you think that ain't happening? Oh, they having orgies in middle school now, in the bathroom. Oh, but we don't need prayer back in school. We don't need order back in school. They having whole orgies in middle school now, the kids. Little girls coming home pregnant, 12, 13, pregnant. Don't even know who the kid father is. She got pregnant during an orgy. These are facts. These are facts. Look it up. You think I'm lying? Oh, he's exaggerating. Look it up. Look it up. You think I'm lying? Look it up. Look it up. They having more sex in junior high school now. Who y'all talking about? It's getting younger and younger. Look it up. Why do you think the STD rates is so high? But we don't need to clean none of this stuff up. This stuff don't need to be changed in what? And this stuff needs to be enacted. You know why? Because it's real victims out here. See, some of y'all just want this shit to continue so you could continue to profit off of it. But there's real victims out here. Real victims. Not somebody who participated and got caught and said, I didn't want to do it. No, not one of them. We talking about real victims. And you know, their voices get pushed further and further down when you start making this shit okay. Because they start looking at the world and saying, well, damn, I might as well just look at what happened to me as the norm. This is what's going on. See, I'm not here to bash nobody for what they do, but just be honest, be genuine, be yourself. Stop. If you want to be who you are, be who you are. You don't have to force who you are on nobody by trying to play victim and creating a victim story, because it's real victims out here stuff. Especially stuff that's going on in the schoolhouse. But I think, and we getting ready to wrap up the show, right? I think if we bring certain things back into the schoolhouse, a lot of stuff will begin to purge itself. Now, will we have to have other reinforcements for things? Yes. But I believe things will begin to purge itself out of the school. Because guess what? Everybody who shoot the school, every little boy who shoot the school up, he not shooting it up because he mad. So again, maybe with him having to come to school and pray every day, it'll get him to rethink even bringing the pistol. Look at what prayer is doing to the guys in O Block. They praying in the middle of the projects. Now, some of y'all may say that's not real or whatever. But they're making it a better environment for those kids. Now those kids could come outside and play. Because the older dudes who outside ain't shooting at nobody, and ain't nobody running in there trying to shoot at them. They're able to see something different, so they're able to grow up and become something better. So bringing prayer back in school may be something we need to think about. I'm not saying just go ahead and no. But think about it. Consider certain things and make it make sense. Like we did here today, make it make sense. I know some of y'all may have legitimate gripes with what I'm saying. And I want y'all to get down in the comment section, right? And let me know your gripes. Let's chop it up in the comment section. I don't do no arguing. We ain't gonna do a bunch of cursing and none of that. But we could go back and forth. You make your point, I make my point. That's a conversation. And I'm here for y'all to consider certain things. Let's consider these things. I don't have problems with people and their alternative lifestyles. I don't care what you want to identify as sexually. But like I was having a conversation, right? And I had to explain this to this young lady that I understand what a lot of the people from alternative lifestyles are saying, but it seems like they're the least understanding. They don't understand that now in society, straight people are alienated. See, we've got so extreme with this stuff that now other people are alienated. So now the same thing that was being pushed that made you feel oppressed is the same thing now that's making straight guys such as myself feel oppressed. Because remember when you felt like you couldn't express yourself because you'll be called names and people will hurl slurs at you and look at you a certain way and say certain things about you. That's happening to the straight man now. Do you know that? Or do you care? Because you want us to care. You want us to have empathy. Where's yours? Where's your level of understanding? See, we could have this conversation. I don't care about who you sleep with. Because it's about respect first. You see? Where's that level of understanding and compassion for the straight man now? Who's called a predator? Who's called DL? What about that? What about those things? Do people in your community speak about that? Or is that something we got to worry about on our own? But everybody needs to cater, excuse me, let me not use that word. Everybody needs to come together, right? Congregate and understand y'all. But y'all ain't got to do that for nobody else. Only for people who are like you. But the people who are not like you, you ain't got to worry about it. That's on y'all. See, you can't do that. You can't do that. Because then you doing and becoming the same thing you fought against. See why we need to have conversations? Logical conversations. Now you're becoming what you fought against. See, we got to think about this. And this is what's happening overall around this whole presidential election. People are actually voting against themselves. They're forgetting about the stuff they wrote on their Facebook 5 years ago, 10 years ago, all the gripes they had 10 years ago, 5 years ago online, on these panels, all the stuff y'all used to talk about. So y'all just got rid of all that. Think about this. And I just want to let y'all know that y'all need to pay attention to that. Because that's the power of media. Whole time you thinking for yourself. And you being led to go down a certain way. You see? A lot of y'all are voting against yourselves and don't even know it. Going against your own best interests. We don't need safer schools. We don't want our children to stop being treated as account numbers at school and be treated like a human. Stop feeding our children a step over goddamn jail food. You know that's what they feed the children in the inner cities, that food. That shit is like a level or 2 levels over prison food. Hamburgers in a bag. They used to feed us commissary in school. Everything come packaged, heat up, you could put in the microwave. What, y'all go back and think about when you was in school. Now I'm gonna say this. Some of us may look at that shit as gourmet. Because some of us was growing up eating syrup sandwiches. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. So some of y'all may look at that food as gourmet, but that's prison food, man. That's prison food. Look at the colors that they use on the walls in these schools. I remember one time, let me give y'all a personal story, then we're going to wrap it up. Make sure y'all double tap y'all screens if y'all are coming in a vertical feed. Like and share the show. Now, growing up, right? Because y'all know half of my family is Muslim. God body. Extremely heavy influence, right? Y'all know that. So growing up, right, I will always hear certain stuff. Always about the government and how schools are. And one thing I used to hear was, well, these schools is built like jails. I started hearing that when I was like a teenager, not when I was little. I was like a teenager. You know, you grow up in Brooklyn a certain time, especially even when you grow up in the 2000s. That's when I grew up in the 2000s, right? Late 90s, early 2000s. And when the guards used to be in the cipher and they used to be building, that's something they used to talk about. They used to talk about the school to prison pipeline. That's where I first learned that schools, hospitals, and jails are all the same thing. They're all institutions, you know, all of that type of game, right? And I used to be like, yo, why they saying that? Until I got locked up. Until I got locked up. Now, if any of y'all from New York and you've been to Central Bookings, now you know where Central Bookings at. Central Bookings is downtown Brooklyn. Court Street is down there by Court Street, right? I don't know where it's at now. That was a long time ago. I don't know where it's at now, right? What up, Joe? Shout out to Joe in the building. Salute. Shout out to my guy, Zuma. What up, Zuma? What's good? He said, nigga said I grew up in the 2000s. That's when I was born. What up, Zuma? What's good, bro? Salute. Joe says schools are built like prisons on purpose because they're nothing more than another form of prison with very little educating going on. Facts, Joe. Now, here's when I realized this in person, when I was able to visualize it. Because just hearing it in the ciphers, you know, and you know, when you in the cipher and you ain't got nothing to add on, you got to just be quiet, you know. That's you just shut up and listen. That's what you do in the cipher. You don't butt in if you ain't got nothing to really add on. So I'm going to Central Bookings. And they have you move through different parts of the building the closer you get to court. So first, when you first get to the Bookings, you start in the basement. You start all the way in the basement in the holding cells. And then as your paper move up, they put you on a chain gang and they move you around. They move you around. Move you around. So while we walking on the chain gang, we walking upstairs, walking through hallways. So I'm looking around, we get in the staircase, right? We walking up the steps. I'm looking at the colors and stuff. I'm like, yo, this look like my high school. It got the same cage on, the same little cage. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, these dudes wasn't lying. I'm looking at how the structure, the same walls, them same hard walls that's in the projects too. It's the same walls that's in school, and that's the same walls in the Bookings. And my lying shots, if you go to Kingsborough Projects and look at the walls in the hallway, that's the same walls that was in Paul Robeson. That's the same walls that's in Central Bookings. We don't think we need to change. We want our children prepping their minds for prison by walking through school hallways. A lot of my friends went to jail. And I don't mean just got locked up. I'm talking about went to prison. And I'm not talking about friends I met along the way. I'm talking about dudes I grew up with. They mothers know my mother. Grew up with. They did bids, went to prison. Something got to change, man. Something has to change at some point. It has to. We don't want to become grandfathers and grandmothers and we sitting there saying, God damn, these children is bad as hell. We want to sit like we still want to be saying that. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Think about this, man. Say that again, Zuma. Them cross-hatched over the window doors. Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about. Jay from Philly says, DS1, random question. Are you still working on a docuseries? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is still with the editor. The editor is still editing it. He he putting a master edit on it for me. Shout out to my bro for that. But I'm definitely still working on it, man. And it's coming, bro. I'm glad you asked that, man. Shout out to my guy, Jay from Philly. And shout out to everyone for tuning into today's show, man. Jeff Walker says, teach, my brother. I'm 62 and I'm learning something from you right now. Man, I appreciate you, my brother. Salute to you. Salute to you. So when we talking about education reform and all of these things, man, we gotta first think of the actual education and the quality of the education. Because I noticed when I first started talking about this, right? And one of my mods, can y'all please post yesterday's show? I noticed that a lot of y'all were just focused on the funding, the money part. Let's focus on the quality of the education. Because we know that the first thing they cut is educational funding. And then we wondering why the schoolhouses look the way they look. We wonder why our children are they're not up to grade level. It's because the teachers don't care. It's because of the lack of resources. The lack of resources, the lack of participation from the parents. Because you do know that also helps foster a healthy relationship between a student and a teacher. Because you do know the first relationship of student and teacher is parent and child. This is why the teachers will feel more comfortable and they'll teach better if they know you'll come up there and check your badass son who like to interrupt the class. But that don't happen no more. You know what parents do today? Why you calling me? I'm asleep. It's 12:30 in the afternoon. She sleep, talking about why the teacher calling her and her son in the goddamn classroom raising hell. Why you calling me? Man, shout out to everyone in the building. You know I'm not lying, Taylor. You know I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. Facts. Facts. That's the school I graduated from, Shots. I graduated from Paul Robeson. I told that story the other day on the show, Shots. I think you was in the building. But yeah, I graduated from Paul Robeson. Shout out to my man FTC Vice in the building. Salute to Team Guardian. Danny says education starts at home. Parents need to stop relying on the school to educate their children when it's their job. Exactly. Or how about this, Danny? How about we look at it like this so everybody can be included, right? How about as parents, we start understanding that it takes a village to raise these children. Part of that village is the schoolhouse and those teachers. So we as parents need to we must foster a healthy relationship with that teacher. And the children must understand this. These children need to understand that the teacher not against them, because that's how a lot of these children feel, because that's how a lot of these teachers act. And they do that because they're scared of a lot of these children. Let's be real, y'all. A lot of this stuff is messed up, man. And who's falling to the wayside? The children. Just be real, man. Here you go. Joe says, if you look it up, New York schools, particularly the whole entire state of New York school systems, are set up to be most segregated school systems in the country. Facts. Totally agree, bro. I was part of the New York school system. I totally agree, my brother. Very segregated. Very. Even down to the curriculum, Joe. Like certain public schools teach one thing in certain grades, but in a whole nother area or in another borough, they teach something else for the same grade. That's a fact. But shout out to everyone, man. I appreciate everyone for pulling up to today's show. Make sure you double tap your screens on the way out. If you're in the vertical feed, double tap your screens on the way out. The links to these videos will be down in the description box. I would like to go back and watch the videos. Or if y'all are just coming in, y'all can watch the playback, man. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to everyone. If you have financially supported today's show, I appreciate you. If you would like to, Cash App $DS100 Network. Cash App $DS100 Network is where you can support the show, or you can hit me up on Venmo, at Sheep Stay Sleep TV on Venmo, at Sheep Stay Sleep TV on Venmo. Welcome to all the new supporters. I appreciate everyone. Now, y'all, let me say this before we get up out of here. This Monday coming up, I will be premiering a pre-record for the morning show. For the next 2 Mondays, I will be giving y'all pre-records. So make sure y'all look out for that. But I'm going to try my best. We will be back here Sunday afternoon. I'm going to come back and do a show for you guys, man. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay abreast to the community tab. Y'all make sure y'all set y'all bell notifications. So y'all know when I'm going live or whenever I'm dropping a premiere, man. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Salute to my lovely lady mods for always coming through and holding it down. Shout out to all the visionaries, man. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV, and I'm going to catch y'all on Sunday. Peace.